Hey everyone, it's Kristen from k.becca, and today I'll be checking out the foil quill from We Are Memory Keepers. I know that a lot of us, including myself, are excited about this new tool and want to see how it performs, and today I'll do some initial testing and get more comfortable with it. What makes the foil quill so innovative and exciting is that it works together with a number of brands of electronic die cutting machines to create foiled designs. And given how much buzz has been surrounding this tool since it was announced, I'm really hoping that we'll see more of these innovative types of tools that work with die cutting machines in the future. I purchased the Foil Quill All-in-One Kit, which comes with all 3 tip sizes that are available. The fine tip, which is the pink colored tool, is 0.5 millimeters. The standard tip, which is the aqua color, is 1.5 millimeters, and the bold tip, which is the navy blue color, is 2.5 millimeters. This kit also comes with 4 cutting machine adapters, which include adapters for Silhouette, Cricut, Brother, and Sizzix cutting machines. Also included are 6-inch wide sample rolls of foil for the foil quill in gold, silver, and rose gold, plus placement tape, a heat-resistant plate, and an instruction manual. The all-in-one kit retails for $99.99, so it is kind of pricey. But you can also purchase the tips individually if you don't want all of the sizes, and those retail for $39.99 each, which is less of an investment. As I'm unboxing everything, I want to mention a few important things. First, the foil quill is not endorsed or affiliated with any of the cutting machine brands that it's designed to work with, and some of the companies have already come out with statements clarifying their non-endorsement and stating that the use of this tool will void the warranty on their machines. The main concern seems to be that this is a heat tool and the machines that it works with haven't been thoroughly tested with the tool by the cutting machine companies themselves. So I understand their concern and desire to cover themselves just in case anything happens. As stated in the instruction manual for the foil quill itself, it should never be left unattended and should always be unplugged when not in use. The tip itself gets very hot when it's plugged in, and you can burn yourself if you accidentally touch it while it's hot. Trust me, I know. The colored plastic housing for the tips also get hot, but it's not hot enough to burn you like the metal tip. I'll be testing the foil quill with a Silhouette Cameo. Mine is already well outside the warranty period, so I'm not worried about voiding the warranty by using it. I also recently purchased a Cricut maker, and I've decided for the time being not to use the foil quill with it, only because I did just purchase the maker a couple of months ago and haven't had the chance to use it much yet. Once I use it more for regular cutting and get more comfortable with it, I'll definitely be using the foil quill with it. Right now, I'm just being overly cautious. Okay, now that I've unboxed everything and have had a chance to read over the instruction manual, it's time to test this tool out. First, I'll test the fine tip, which is the pink one. Since I'm using a Silhouette machine, I'll need adapter A. Each of the heat pen tips has threads on it, as does the adapter, so I'll slide the adapter on and screw it in place. Then I'll load it into the left tool holder on the machine and click the tool holder tab to lock it in place. Next, I'll need to power things up, but before I do that, I'll get the little heat-resistant plate and place that under the foil quill. This helps protect the plastic on the machine from the heat coming from the tool. I don't know why I thought that I needed to place it in behind the roller there because it was really tricky to remove it when I needed to. Later on, I figured out that I could just slide it under the tool from the front, which made it really easy to remove. The USB power cord for the quill is only 2 feet long, which isn't very long, and the USB slot on the Cameo machine will not power it, or at least it didn't power mine. So keep this in mind because if your machine is more than 2 feet away from a computer or wherever else your power source may be, you may need to get a USB extension cable so you can plug the quill in and still have enough cord for things to work. My computer is several feet away from where I have my machine, so I did need an extension cable. I actually already had one around, and it worked out fine. I'll link the one that I used, which is a little over $10, but you can find them for less if you don't need one as long as the one that I bought. When I plug the cable into a USB slot on my computer, you'll see the power light on the foil quill come on. The instruction booklet says to allow the tool to heat for at least 5 minutes, so while it's heating up, let's head over to Silhouette Studio to check out the designs that we'll be foiling. I have my file set up here with 3 groups of the same designs, each with a different line color. I have a video coming soon that will show you step by step how to set up a file like this for sketching by line color, or in this case by foil quill tip size. Each of these separate groups will be foiled with a different tip size, and the top group, the one in red, will use the fine tip that we have heating up now. I wanted to test out a variety of designs, so I have a couple that were created specifically as sketch designs, and these are the birthday sentiment on the left and the very detailed mandala on the far right. I also have a good luck sentiment that is actually a regular cut file, and I've used Silhouette Studio's internal offset feature to fill the shape for sketching. I have another video coming up in the next week or two where I'll talk about the differences between files created specifically for sketching and sketching with regular cut files, and in that video I'll show you step by step how to create these types of fills for shapes for sketching. The final design in the group is a heart, and I used one of the edge sketch options in Studio's sketch panel to create the outline for this sketch shape. This was originally just a regular cut file. I'll click the Send tab, then the Line tab so you can see how the file is set up with pauses between each color row. Again, I have a video coming up in the next couple of weeks that will show you how to set this up step by step. But for today, I want to focus on testing the foil quill. Back over at the machine, I'll load a mat with cardstock, and I'm using black cardstock here, hoping that you'll be able to see the results much better on this cardstock. Next, I'll cut a piece of the gold foil that comes in the kit to about the width of the cardstock, and I'll tape it in place using the placement tape that also comes in the kit. I think this tape is basically washi tape, so once you run out, you can use washi tape if you already have some of that in your stash of craft supplies. When you're taping the foil in place, try to pull it as taut as you can. It doesn't need to be perfect or super duper taut, but I think if it's taped on there really loosely, it could affect the quality of the results. Next, I'll remove the heat shield and load the mat into the machine, and I'll go over to my computer and click the Send tab in Silhouette Studio to send the first group to the machine to foil. I want to mention that if you have a shape like the good luck shape that I'm foiling that uses a lot of internal offsets, it could take a little bit longer for it to send and for the machine to start working since that extra information needs to be processed. But once it gets started, the machine works with it just as it would a regular sketch file. Okay, when the foiling is finished for the first group of designs, the machine will pause and the tool holder will make a sound and sort of pop up a little to let you know that you can change out the tool now. I'll leave that for a minute and unload the mat and remove the foils so you can see how incredible these results are. You may notice some foil dust, I guess I'd call it, on the cardstock. I think this is just a characteristic of the heat foil that the foil quill uses. Sometimes little sparkly bits will come off onto the cardstock, and you can usually dust away the stray sparkle without a problem. Also, in the good luck sentiment, you can see the remnants of the individual lines that make up the sketch area, so it's not perfectly smooth, but it still does look pretty darn good, and I didn't really expect it to be super smooth given how fine the tip is. However, the crispness of the lines and the amazing detail that the fine tip quill can create is just amazing. You can see it especially in the mandala, where you can see every little crisp detail, including the tiny little circles in the design. I have to admit I'm impressed. Now I'm going to place the cardstock back on the mat in preparation for testing with the next tip. Then I'll go and unplug the quill and remove it from the tool holder, and I'll unscrew the adapter from the quill. Be careful that you don't touch the metal tip as you're doing this, or it could burn you because it gets very hot. I'll set this in some place that's heat-proof while it cools, and the tips do cool fairly quickly. Mine were cool within 10 to 15 minutes of unplugging them. Next, I'll repeat the same process that we went through with the fine tip for the standard tip, which is the aqua-colored tool. I won't make you sit through everything again, so let's just fast forward to when the tool has finished foiling the designs. I used the rose gold foil for this group, and the results are excellent. There is a little bit of foil missing at the top of the D in birthday here, but that was totally my fault because I accidentally covered that area with placement tape. The interior of the good luck sentiment is a little bit smoother with this tip, and you can definitely see that there's a difference between the fine tip and the standard tip. The detail in the mandala also looks great with this tip, but there are a couple of small areas that didn't foil, and the lines don't look quite as crisp as with the fine tip. But overall, I think that the results with the standard tip are still excellent, and the sketch fill did look somewhat smoother with this tip. Okay, finally let's try the bold tip, which is the navy blue tool. I'll use the silver foil with this tip, and you can see when I remove the foil sheet that these results aren't nearly as crisp as with the other two tips. To be fair, this is almost certainly because the designs that I used for testing weren't really compatible with the tip. I think that the bold tip is meant for more simple, larger scale designs, so it would work great with something like a basic striped card background, but for designs with lots of detail at a smaller size, the results aren't nearly as good. Lots of areas that weren't foiled, and the lines aren't very crisp. But again, if you use it with designs that are more simple and larger scale, then I think that the results would be much better. The tips for the foil quill are also sold individually, as well as in the all-in-one kit that I have, and if I could only buy one of the tips, I think I'd go with the fine tip. I just love how crisp the foiling is, and I'm amazed at how this tip clearly foils even the tiny details. But the standard tip wouldn't be far behind, as it also creates pretty darn great results. I'll have close-up photos over on my blog that will hopefully give you a better idea of how awesome the results with the fine tip and standard tip are. You can find a full list of supplies used in this video in the area below, or in the area below the video if you're watching on k.becca.com. When I recorded this video, the foil quill was sold out pretty much everywhere online except Joann.com. I also went to my local Joann store before I made this video, and it was well stocked with the foil quill and accessories, so if you have a Joann store close to you, you might want to pop in and check to see if they've got it in stock. I hope that this video was helpful for you, and if you'd like to see more foil quill projects, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll tune in again soon.